Hello.
We are unmuted? Oh, wow. We're building some viewership.
Welcome, everybody.
Welcome
we
if
have
you're an
anyone
early
yet,
bird, if you're an
yes.
early arriver.
Let's see.
We're not going to talk about anything important yet. Oh, there we are.
There we go.
There's our faces. Our faces. All right. 42.
Oh, wow. That was quick.
Tell all your friends before we get started. Hop on the stream. We want more people. Becky doesn't like to talk to a small audience. Where are we at? Almost 3 o'clock.
89. Yep, we're almost at 3 o'clock.
Magic number's 100. Can we get there? Share us with your friends. It's like a telethon. Tell everybody about us. Oh, we're close. So close. Couple
99.
more. There we go.
100.
All right, folks. The magic number has been reached. Good afternoon. Welcome here to St. Louis, Missouri, APA's global headquarters here in the Midwest, where we are focused all on Vegas. I'm Jason Bowman. I'm joined by Becky the Real Deal Rosner over here. And we are going to be previewing today the APA World Championships, which, Becky, you're just a couple weeks away. I know
That's right.
I've been kind of seeing some of the comments and questions, but you're all in tune with all of our social media platforms. Like, what are people saying out there? What's going on?
Absolutely. Everybody's getting super excited. Like you said, with us just being a couple weeks out now, I'm seeing tons of pictures of teams, players excited to get out there, some of them for the first time, some of them returning again, some of them maybe just coming out for Mini Mania.
Nice.
So lots of different people. We're trying to hype it up as much as we can, and they're going on there and seem to be just as excited as we are.
Yeah, so you guys are excited, our staff, and obviously we are very excited. So what we want to do today is give you just a quick preview. Of course, a lot of folks may be making their way to Las Vegas for the first time, or to our event in particular in Las Vegas for the first time. So we thought maybe we'd give you a little some tips and tricks on before you get there and while you're there and what to do, and hopefully makes for a better trip for all of you, for you and your teammates. So let's jump right in and really talk a little bit about getting prepared, Becky, for Vegas. And you're kind of the packing queen. So, like, what would you recommend in terms of must-have essentials for folks that are going to be joining us in Las Vegas in 2 weeks?
Okay, so one of the things I would highly recommend would be tennis shoes. Comfortable shoes for sure. In Vegas, it always looks like something is super close, but it never is. You're going to do lots of walking, so make sure you bring some comfortable shoes.
Comfortable shoes.
Comfortable shoes.
Check.
A jacket. Our tournament rooms tend to get a little bit chilly, so definitely bring something in case, I tend to wear a jacket almost the whole time we're there, inside at least.
Yeah, and if you're thinking we sound crazy by telling you to bring a
Yes.
jacket when it's 115 degrees outside in Las Vegas, that is because it's about 70 degrees
Yes.
inside the convention center. So, as Becky said, you'll go from hot to cold very quickly, and always a good idea to just have like a lightweight jacket,
Yeah,
maybe something you
absolutely.
can tie around your waist or, that kind of thing.
Some nice clothes. So if you make it into the finals, you'll have to, dress it up a little bit more for the Pool Dog Championship Arena.
That's right.
So make sure you bring some nicer clothes just in case you do make it all the way to that spot, which good luck to everybody.
Or if you're getting bottle service at the
that
club.
too. That's the thing too.
Yep.
All right, and then the last thing I would say is your ID, which if most of you are traveling via airplane or anything like that, you're going to have your ID as it is, but you will need to show your ID to register and during your matches as well.
Right. And then the most important item probably is your cue case.
Yes.
Don't forget your pool cue, right? You're going to want to have that lucky cue with you when you come out there. So there are a few things you need to know about bringing a cue to Las
Yes.
Vegas. Of course, as much as you may not want to be separated from your baby, you cannot take your cue stick on the airplane, meaning you cannot carry it on with you. You will
Nope.
have to check your cue stick in a checked bag that goes on the airplane. Now, I know some folks like to actually ship their cues out there. I know
Yes.
there's I believe it's a FedEx,
I think a FedEx,
outlet at the Westgate if you want to have your cue shipped there. I would encourage you, though, before you do that, if you're going to ship it ahead of time, call the hotel, get kind of some rates, because it's not the cheapest
No,
thing
it's not.
to go that way. But we understand some folks have very expensive queues, and they're not
Yeah.
quite comfortable just sending them off with the airline. So just know, unless you're driving to Las Vegas, and if you're getting on an airplane, you're going to have to either check that queue, or you're going to have to arrange to ship it out there beforehand. So don't make that mistake.
I've also heard some people say they actually box the queue up for putting it onto the airplane too,
Right.
instead of putting it in their luggage. So that could be a tip as well.
There you go. There you go. All right, so now we know what to pack. Let's talk a little bit about kind of getting on the way to Las Vegas. And the first thing you're going to have to do, at least for those of you that are flying, and a lot of these tips are early on here related to flying, which is how the vast majority
Right.
of our folks get to Las Vegas. But we've got a great discount for you guys. We have arranged with the
Parking spot.
parking spot, which is at almost every major airport. You can actually save 10% on your parking. That's if you've you've got to park at the airport. So go to our website, poolplayers.com/discounts, and you can get some more information about how you can be eligible for that discount. But I mean, if you're going to be in Vegas 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, however many days,
Absolutely.
$7, $8 a day, you're talking about a nice little savings just for being an APA member. So keep that in mind. Take advantage of the parking spot discount that
Absolutely.
APA has arranged for you. The next thing we should probably talk about is the event program. The
Right
Bible,
here.
if you will, for all things World Pool Championships. It's got everything from the different agendas for the events, all the information on some of the fan favorites, and just all the different schedules, of course, rules. Anything you can imagine, any question you might have about the event is more than likely covered in the event program. And the great thing about the event program is you don't have to wait till you get out there to pick one up. You can go to our website, right? We've already got it online at poolplayers.com/program, I believe is the
That's it.
link. And you can access it right there, and again, kind of digest everything. You can you save it to your phone? Can you?
You can save it to your phone. There will be a link on the bottom where you can click. I don't want to say it's save as, but they can copy it to their phone or add it as a bookmark.
Right, there you go. So just always have access to the
Yeah.
link. So either way, if you want to start digesting that information now, you can do that. Again, the event program is available. You can also find that through our Facebook page. I know we put out
Absolutely.
that sometime last week. So again, a lot of good information in the event program. Make sure you know how to access it, not only before the event, but really throughout, I would say.
For sure. It's where you're going to find all the info you could possibly need.
Now, Becky, I'm sure you're getting a lot of questions about CompuSport.
Yes.
Can you tell people a little bit about CompuSport, what it is, and what they need to do with that?
Yeah, so CompuSport's going to be where you're going to find your online tournament brackets. You're going to find out when you play, who you play, and you can do that by going to CompuSport.us or downloading the CompuSport app, which I highly recommend everyone downloads that app. Makes it super easy. I believe you get push notifications through that as well, so you can see kind of, you'll get a push notification of when you're playing and things like that.
Nice.
And we should have those out, I believe, the Tuesday before the event, so I think that's August 7th.
About the 7th.
Yeah,
All
about
right.
the 7th. And we'll post the link up on our Facebook page, poolplayers.com, so everybody can access them that way.
Yeah, the thing I love about the CompuSport app or tracking it online is you can really see, depending on if you win or lose each match, you'll start to get a feel for what types of pockets of time
Yes.
your team will have available to do all the other things that Las Vegas has to offer and our event have to offer.
Absolutely.
So really kind of start to take a look at that once it's out. And you said the 7th?
The 7th, the Tuesday before the event
All
starts.
right, so
yeah.
August 7th, start looking for that. I know a lot of folks have been asking
They have
about that
been.
on social media, wanting to know when's my first match, who do I play, where are they from. Set your reminders for August 7th, and of course, we'll be pushing that information out
Absolutely.
through our Facebook page. So just kind of keep your eye on that stuff. So. All right, so we've talked about preparing for Vegas. Let's talk a little bit about what happens when you arrive in Vegas, because if you've never been there before, it can be a little bit of an
It can be.
overwhelming experience. There's a lot of folks at the airport. There's a lot of different options for getting to the hotel. So let's talk about, Becky, if you would, just talk a little bit about some of the transportation options once people arrive at McCarran Airport.
Yeah, so there's several transportation options. The first one would be a shuttle. We've actually arranged a discount with Super Shuttle, so you can set up a ride to the hotel that way, and you can find that info on our website, poolplayers.com. Go to the World Pool Championship section,
Nice.
and we have a ton of the travel discounts on there. There's also a discount for Enterprise, the rental car company, which is actually at the Westgate. So we have a discount through them as well. But you've also got things like a ride share, the Ubers and the Lyfts. You could get a limo. If you've got a decent group of people, you can get a pretty reasonable price on a limo.
Right.
A taxi, obviously, too.
Tried and true taxi
Tried and true
cabs.
taxi
That's right.
cab.
They're still around.
So I think those are a few of the options. Did I miss anything?
I think you got them all. I mean,
Okay.
I think what Becky's kind of highlighted is there are different price points. So if you're looking to really do this as cost effective as possible, you're going to want to look at the shuttle option. And what that's going to mean is you're going to get on a shuttle with probably, 8 to 10 other folks.
Right.
Everybody's going to be going to different hotels, and you're going to stop at a certain number of hotels on the way to the Westgate. The Westgate is a little bit of a ways from the airport. It's down towards the north end of the Strip. So your absolute cheapest way to get to the hotel is going to be through a shuttle service. Probably your mid-level, your mid-prices are going to be your cabs and your Ubers and your Lyfts, and they're pretty comparable
They
from what I
are.
can tell.
If you've got several people in there with you, I mean, you're looking, I want to say it's about $25, $30
Right.
from the airport to the Westgate. So.
Right, and of course that's going to vary, especially with
Right.
with your ride shares based on time of day and that kind of thing. So when you arrive at the airport, Becky mentioned the limo, and that's a great option if you're traveling, like with your teammates, and like
Right.
6 of you are getting in together. Usually that's like maybe $60 or
Right.
so, and a lot of times you'll see those guys as you get down to the baggage claim, and it's usually a quick way to go. So like
Yes.
if you've got to go to the cab stand, or you've got to walk over to the Uber and Lyft stand, it's going to take you a little longer. Whereas if you want to spring for the limo, you walk right out the door, right into the limo, and you're off to the hotel or wherever you're staying. And that's kind of a cool way to arrive to
It
Vegas
is.
if you can afford
For
it.
sure.
And then Becky mentioned Enterprise, which has a station right there at the Westgate. So one of the things, and I've actually done this before, is you pick up the car at the airport from Enterprise, and you drop it off at the Westgate.
perfect.
So, if you want to, you don't have to take it both ways. So, or you can rent a car the entire time. But
Right.
there are options for getting to the hotel, and those are kind of what those options are. So, when you get to the hotel, you're going to walk in, and to the left, you're going to see the registration desk. This is hotel registration. This is, for those of you that are staying at the Westgate, this is where you check in. And I'm going to forewarn you, when you come to Las Vegas, depending on when you get there, more than likely there's going to be a little
Lines.
bit of a line there. So just be prepared for that. Don't get flustered when you walk in. They try to keep the line moving as quickly as they can, and although it looks long, it should move fairly quickly. So just don't get frustrated if it's been a long day of travel and you walk in and you see a line that looks like, it could wrap around the building, because
Yeah,
it
when-
really is not going to take that long.
No, when you've got thousands of players coming out, it's a
Yep.
little bit to be expected.
Everybody needs a room, right? And so then the other registration we want to talk about is the event registration, and that'll take place down in the tournament rooms. So once you get to the Westgate and once you get checked out, we'd always encourage you to take a little walk around the property and kind of figure out where everything is. So in the case of our tournament rooms, you're going to want to walk towards the Hotel Convention Center, not to be
Yes.
confused with the Las Vegas Convention Center, which is right next door. So you're going to walk past Benihana, the Japanese restaurant. You're going to walk past the steak place, the Edge, the Italian place, into a big foyer, and you're going to make a right, and then you can't miss the
No,
tournament
you
from
can't
there.
miss it.
So it's not hard to find, and worst comes to worst, you follow all the people with the cue sticks, because
Absolutely.
that's all is at the Westgate for 10
We've
days
got
in
this
August.
map in here,
There you go. Look
so
at
you
that
guys
map.
can for sure follow this as well. It's going to outline everywhere you need to be.
Right.
You can
So it's
see
tough
that.
to get lost, but we do encourage you to kind of get a feel for the event space. Once you download the program guide, you can kind of see when your team's registration will be, and that depends on event. So just kind of, again, the more prepared you are, the easier it's going to, a little bit easier it's going to be,
Sure.
and I think that the more pleasant of an experience you'll have in terms of getting to the hotel. So now we're packed, now we've made it to Vegas, now we're arriving at the Westgate, and so now let's really get into the event stuff. And I was looking, Becky, I was looking at some of the numbers that the tournament department gave me this morning. So these are some cool numbers you guys are going to want to check out. So participation, we have this year 13,643 participants
Wow.
in 6 different championship events this year.
That's crazy.
What's crazier, Becky, is that number does not include people that just come out to play in Mini Mania.
With their spouses or just to play.
Right,
Yeah,
because we got a lot of
absolutely.
folks that'll just drive out for the experience of playing Mini Mania. So that's cool. 2,361 teams total, 48 states represented, 3 countries, of course, U.S., Canada,
Japan.
and the folks, the teams from Japan that come over. Going to be 43 different vendors at this year's event. So if you need a new cue stick or any other billiard accessory you could think of, All that stuff's going to be available through all the different vendors that'll be there. 324 pool tables we're bringing in for this year's event. That's a lot of pool tables. I talked to Nicole earlier, 985 Mini Mania events. So those will basically run around the clock, about 20 hours a day.
20 hours, yeah.
I think they closed the room down for a little while to clean it up, right, at the end of the day. And a total payout of $77,270. So, like, we'll call it $1.3 million.
$1.3 million, yeah,
we'll go with
absolutely.
it, we're not
That's a
math
lot.
folks, so we'll go with $1.3 million.
We work in marketing.
Let the accountants work out the rest, all right? So now, the event is a great thing. It's going to go from the 8th through the 18th? 9th through the 18th?
I think 9th through the 18th, yes.
Okay, so we'll kick off with, like, the 9-ball and the ladies, and, man, we got so many different events this year. It's like we've got the Jack and Jill event. Of course, we've got the Masters event, the ladies 8-ball championship, 8-ball and 9-ball championships, and our new event this year, one that we're really excited to see the turnout for, is the new Team Captain Championships. And that should be a really cool event. It's a very unique format.
It is.
We were talking a little bit before we got started with Bill Tufts, our director of tournament productions. He's going to join us here towards the end of the session, by the way, to take any Q&A you folks might have. But really the format for this new Team Captain event is very, very cool because it's an 8-ball, 9-ball format. You've got 3 players that you basically set out a lineup with. I think you can have up to 4 players on your team,
Up
but
to
5.
5 on the team.
Bill's flashing me the 5 back there.
5 on the
So
team.
5 on a team, 3 play in a match, and you basically set the roster. So it would be like Becky, Jason, Bill.
Yeah.
Right? And you start with 8-ball, and then you play a game of 9-ball, 8-ball, 9-ball, and you go back and forth until you reach your skill level total that you need to win the match. And that's based on the 3 combined skill levels in that match. So should be a very cool event. I think there's 384 teams. I think we're paying out about $60,000 for that particular event. So, again, more prize money this year being offered. Some of the other things of note, we mentioned Mini Mania. Pool Party. Pool Party this year is a can't-miss event. It's held poolside at the Westgate, and this year it takes place on Sunday. August 12th.
It's different than in the past years.
It is different on a different day. We've had to move some things around because of the new Team Captain event. So just make sure that you're scheduling appropriately. Sunday, August 12th, 8 to 11. 8 to 11?
8 to 11.
And right there at the Westgate Pool. And again, it is an outstanding time. I know Florian Kohler will be there. Jeanette will be there. Jeanette
Dr.
Lee,
Q.
Dr. Q. There's going to be all kinds of stuff to do. The DJ will be out there. The pool will be open. It's going to be like 115 degrees anyway.
It'll be like an oven.
So you're going to want to be in the pool. Trust me, you're going to want to be in the pool. All right, so pool party.
Bring your swimsuit.
Team shirt contest. Talk to me a little bit about that.
Yeah, team shirt contest. So we're running a team shirt contest. You can enter any time during the event up until the Wednesday before. I believe it's the 15th. Anybody is welcome to enter who's in one of the championship events. So whether you're playing in the Showdown Series, which is going to be the doubles championship, the Masters, team captains, or the regular 8-ball and 9-ball, can enter the team shirt contest. So we have an entry form on our website, poolplayers.com. Go to the Whirlpool Championship site, but we'll also have entry forms on site as well. And they'll enter at the photo booth, which is going to be in the foyer area of the convention center.
So it's starting to get late in the day, Becky. I'm kind of hungry, and I'm thinking ahead to, like, what am I going to do for food at the Westgate, right? So there are a number of different food options. We want to just kind of mention each of them briefly and kind of talk about what your options are as far as food goes there at the Westgate. So you've got you've got a food court. So we're going to start from kind of lowest priced options to most expensive.
There's a little bit of everything.
Right. So there's a food court there where we've got, what do we got at the food court?
We've got Mexican. We've got kind of bar type of food.
Yeah, like
you
deli, burgers.
Yeah, deli burgers, chicken fingers, things like that. And then
Pizza.
Pizza's the last one.
So that's the food court that's located down in the sports book. Down towards the tournament room, you'll find we refer to as cash sales. The hotel brings out like some different foods. Like in the morning, they've got some breakfast items. In the afternoon, they've got like chicken fingers. I know we've got the Partio barbecue out in between the main tournament room and the foyer area that people can go to, and they obviously have bars out there. You've got so when you get from kind of to the now going from the cheaper to the mid-level food options, you've got Sid's Cafe, which is it's a del. I mean, it's basically a cafe.
Yeah, it's a cafe with
You know, you can get a burger there. You can get maybe a pasta. You can get a soup. I mean, there's a
Salad,
variety.
yeah,
Salad.
anything.
And it's a little bit more. It's going to be a little more expensive than the food court. Not quite as expensive as some of the finer dining restaurants
Right.
at the Westgate. So, and it's more of a sit-down type place.
Yes.
So you're going to want to make sure you've got 30, 45 minutes at least to sit down and eat because it's usually a busy place.
Yeah.
So aside from that, we've got the Italian restaurant.
Yep.
We've got Benihana, the Japanese
Benihana.
restaurant that also
Always
has
good.
sushi.
Yes.
You know, you can get some sushi to go there. You can eat there, obviously. We've got a steakhouse called Edge,
Edge,
that is
very good.
fantastic. Now,
Very
that's going to
good.
be on the upper end in terms of
Yes.
pricing. So you're going to want to make sure you kind of plan and budget accordingly, if you will, based on kind of what you want to eat on any particular night. But there are a variety of options, all different ranges in terms of price.
Yeah.
So just kind of want to mention that to you. And the other thing I'll mention, speaking of price, Becky, because I know some folks sometimes come to Vegas and they start to get a little bit of sticker shock.
Right.
Right? You go and you buy a beer and it's like $6 or $7
Yeah.
bucks, or you go to buy. So just understand, folks, that it is Las Vegas. It is a premier tourist destination. So sometimes the prices may be a little bit higher than what you're used to back home. All right. But what I can tell you about the Westgate is that their prices are as competitive as
They
any
are.
of the other casino properties in Vegas. So, and they try to do a lot of special
They do.
deals for our members to try to keep prices down as best they can. So
Yeah.
look for those specials. In fact, I'm going to introduce you to one right now. We're talking beer specials now.
That's always
Yeah,
good.
I know what you
Yeah.
think. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I like beer.
we've got the Westgate has teamed up with us to do these steins, right? These World Pool Championship steins, and basically the deal that they're offering is for $20. Not only do you get the stein, but they're going to give you 3 beers.
Dang.
Because it holds about 3 beers. All
That's
right?
pretty good.
So you be careful if you pick one
I'll-
of these up. All right.
I'll do my best.
So, but again, this is kind of a good example of some of the nice values that they try to find for our members. And these steins and this beer deal is going to be available, I think, at all of the bars that are within the tournament space.
Awesome.
Right now, you can't go to the casino bar and get this deal because
Right,
that's
right.
a little bit different. But all the bars within like the playing arenas and things will have that offer for you. So again, there are ways to do it efficiently, but just understand that the price points in Vegas are a little bit higher than they are back home because it is Las Vegas.
Vegas.
It is a vacation.
I get to take that home with me too, don't I?
Sure, but there's
Yeah.
nothing in it.
Well,
There's nothing in it.
well,
Did you already get to it?
no, not
Okay,
yet.
just checking. All right, so just kind of know your food and beverage options. What else can we tell them, Becky? I mean, I think we've told them all the good stuff, right?
I think we have. I mean, the vendors, we talked about that.
Talked a little
Fan
bit about the
favorites. So there's going to
fan
be
favorites.
a couple of fan favorites out there all week that you guys can interact with. Come check out their shows, get autographs. Florian Venom Kohler is going to be there for a couple shows.
Right.
So he'll be there at the pool party. and then
Internet trick shot
Internet
sensation.
trick shot sensation.
That's right.
Jeanette Lee, the Black Widow.
Yeah, I
she
think
will
she's
be
coming
there
out on the. I believe she
Sunday?
arrives on the 12th.
Okay.
Yeah, I
so
think
she'll
that's
be
the
out
first day, and
Sunday
then she's there for the rest of the event.
till I think Thursday.
Yeah,
Wednesday or Thursday, something like that. Dr. Q will be there the whole time.
right.
So he's arriving Thursday, and he'll be there up until Saturday.
I know Lee Brett's going to be out
Lee
there
Brett
doing
will be
some
there doing
instructional exhibitions. I know Ava Lawrence will be
Ava
there,
will be there.
commentating the live streams with me. And again, you can tune in to watch the final round of any of our 6 championships this year from Pool Dog Championship Arena. So Ava will be out there. There's usually a host of pro
Yes.
players. I know, like last year, I ran into Skylar Woodward and Billy Thorpe, 2 of the Moscone Cup team members. They happened to show up at the pool party.
They
They're like,
did.
"What's up?"
Yeah.
And I was like, why didn't you guys tell me you were coming? We could let somebody know. So
Right.
you never know who you're going to run into out in Las Vegas in terms of the professional pool players. So, but there'll certainly be quite a few people making their way around. And usually they're pretty happy to take a picture with
Absolutely.
you, sign an autograph, as long as they're not like running to get somewhere.
Right.
And that would probably be like Jeanette, right?
Yes,
Because,
yes.
everybody tries. It's very difficult for her to get from her room to the tournament room sometimes. So if she's moving quickly and says, come see me in my booth, then you know she's just trying to get somewhere quickly.
Yeah,
So,
and
so
she has
understand that.
she has a ton of time set up just about every day that she's there. So check out the event program again. All their exhibition times are in there, so you can. There's plenty of times that you guys will be able to find them and get what you need.
All right, so guys, I think that's most of the information that we have for you. I'm going to trade Becky out here for Bill Tufts, our director of tournament productions, and we're going to take a little Q&A from you folks. If anybody's got any questions that they want to ask, anything that maybe we didn't cover about the event in particular, we're we're happy to try to answer those questions now. Again, I know there's a lot to think about and a lot to prepare for when you're planning a trip like this, and especially if you've never been to Las Vegas. So, again, feel free to ask any questions. Of course, I'm joined now by Bill Tufts. What's up with you,
Hello,
man?
everyone. Little busy right now.
A little busy,
yeah,
huh?
a little busy.
How's the crew doing over there, getting ready?
Well, some of them are actually at the warehouse today, so we're putting together goodie bags and getting ready for the truck.
Nice.
So,
nice.
Yeah.
So we tell them a little bit about the truck, just because, you go through a lot of stuff for this. So
yeah. So we run the full production team. So when we actually bring everything out, it takes a 52-foot trailer to do so.
Wow.
And it's literally packed from front to back, top to bottom, with everything that we need to actually administer the tournament. So all of our materials, all of our giveaways, everything is on that truck, with the exception of the pool table lights, which we keep stored in Vegas.
That's right. In another trailer.
Yes, in another 52-foot trailer, loaded front to back, top to bottom.
And then there's a bunch of trailers with pool tables, right? We need pool tables?
Yeah, fortunately, those aren't ours.
Nice.
Those are contracted out. High Country brings those in from all over the country.
Okay.
Right now, I believe that they're stationed in Colorado.
Okay. So lot of stuff still to happen, and I know you'll be heading out, next week?
Oh, I head out August 2nd.
August
so next
2nd.
weekend.
Wow.
Or next week. Next Thursday.
Wow. So
Yeah.
you're like just a little over a week out. Crazy.
Yeah. Well, I'm out there. Some of us that are setting up, we're out there for about 17 days.
Okay.
or
So how long, tell people, I kind of know, but how long does the setup take for you guys?
So the setup will actually start. We'll start on Friday. That'll
Nice.
be August 3rd. It's completed the day before the players show up. So I guess that's
The
August 8th.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's about 5-6 day set
Yeah.
to set everything up, and then about a 1 day tear out.
Yeah. They tell
It's
us
amazing.
Yeah, we got to get out of there fast when it's over. Fast. So, Steve, our man behind the camera here, is he's seeing what you guys are talking about out there in internet land. If anybody's got any questions they'd like to ask about the event, about the tournament, about Bill's love life, whatever you want to ask, we're here. We're at your disposal, and happy to answer any questions you guys might have before we sign off. Anything good out there, Steve?
First question I got is, are all of the tables freshly refelted for the tournament, or are some aged?
No, they are all fresh. So over the summer, High Country, they've got a busy tournament season. They actually do our event in April. They do a couple of other big shows. So what they do is they go back after those big shows and they recover every single table. So they'll all be recovered. What we try to do is we try to get a little bit of play on the tables.
Right.
A fresh table looks pretty, but sometimes there's some quirks with the play. So we try to get as many games on those as possible through practice rounds, things like that, to get them up to par for the actual championship events.
And that's no small feat. We talked about the fact there's 320-something tables.
324 tables. Those are just the tables that are located in the convention area. We also anticipate having some tables in the casino at a bar there. We've also got the pool tables to go out to the pool party. That. So there are a few more, but the 324 is what the bulk of the play will happen on.
Now, what happens? So I'm going to kind of expand on that question if I can. What happens in the course of a tournament if, I'm playing on a certain table and there happens to be an issue, suddenly the rail is dead, or it's something quirky is going on. What do I do?
So one of the biggest things is we're setting up 324 tables. There are going to be some issues that pop up throughout an event, just
Especially
because
with all
the
that
amount
play.
of play. All the things happening. So if you do run into an issue on the tables, what we want you to do is go to the referee that's in your area, or go to a tournament staff official if it happens to be a practice time and there's not a referee around. And what they can do is they can actually radio for a table tech to come out. We will send a table tech out to that table almost immediately. These guys are on call. Basically the full 20 hours that we're running. There's always somebody on shift. If they happen to be working on another table, it might take a little bit of time to get to yours, but we want to make sure that it's right. So they'll do what they can to make sure that the table is up to our standards.
Good stuff there. Good to know. What else we got, Steve?
We got a question, dress code in the finals versus the early rounds.
So the early rounds, we just want you to dress nice. We want you to, whatever you're wearing, to be appropriate.
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 Yes.
If I'm not going to say it's going to be Sunday church wear up until the final days in the finals arena, but we just want to make
T-shirts
you look
with
nice.
F-bombs on them, please.
Unfortunately, it does happen.
Yeah,
It has
we've
happened.
actually had a guy walking around with a shirt that had an F-bomb on it.
Yeah.
With the word "you" underneath it. It's like, what?
Yeah,
And he
inappropriate.
didn't understand why that was inappropriate, did
No,
he?
he didn't. He
Go
didn't. But we
figure.
explained it to him as best we could and had him change. The biggest thing is we just want to make sure that it looks appropriate. If you happen to see somebody that you believe is an inappropriate attire, again, go to a tournament official. The rooms are huge, guys, and there's so many people. It's impossible for us to police
Sure.
both players and spectators and everything else. But if there is an issue, we want to know about it. We want to address it. So if you see something that you believe is inappropriate for the tournament, come and tell us and we'll address it there. When it gets to that final day, I mean, the rules are pretty basic even for the championship arena. We don't want you in denim, no hats. We want you in shirts that are in good taste. You know, your team shirts are okay as long as they're in good taste. Some team
Right.
shirts come in less than good taste. But the biggest thing is no jeans. I think that's the one that we catch most people on. As far as shoes, again, just appropriate shoes. We're not really looking at your feet during the match, but we
Right.
want to make sure that whatever you have isn't ratty, like ratty, torn, that kind of thing.
Right. Yeah, and I mean, the reason for this, for those of you that maybe not understand this, is, for one, we live stream all the finals
Yes, we
matches,
do.
right? So tens of thousands of people literally end up watching that finals match, and we want to make sure everybody looks or is representing pool in general well.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Sometimes there are some preconceived notions amongst the general public about what pool is and looks like, and we want to make sure that we're putting a good face on it as best we can.
Of course.
Obviously, there are results that go into, like, our magazine on the website. So, again, photography is being taken of these teams, and we want to make sure that these people look good because, for them, this is a memory they're going to want to hold on to.
Exactly.
Right? So if I'm getting a
Yeah.
picture taken, of myself shooting during my championship match, I'm going to want that picture like 20 years later, and I'm going to want to look good. I'm not going to want to have a
True.
F-bomb T-shirt on
Yeah.
and tell my kids,
Or
like,
on your opponent.
that's
Yeah.
what it meant.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we don't do that just to be cruel, right? There
No,
is a
no.
reason behind it. It's kind of the same reason as some of the team names, right? We're a little
Exactly.
strict sometimes on
Yeah.
team names because, again, we don't want to be calling your local newspaper and using some profane reference
It
when
actually
it comes
starts.
to team names.
It actually starts a bit earlier than that. We've had some of our staff members on the control table. They're a little up there in age, and they're getting up there, and they're having to read these things out loud over a microphone to a room full of people. We want to make sure that they're appropriate.
Sure.
We want to make sure that our staff are comfortable, that the players in the event are comfortable. If the name isn't comfortable or the attire is uncomfortable, we're going to ask you to change it.
Right. So hopefully that makes sense in terms of both dress code and kind of team name. What else we got, Steve?
A couple of people are asking about will they have enough time to schedule to know when they're playing so they can schedule minis.
Yes. So Jason brought up a great point earlier in the stream about CompuSport. That's going to be your best avenue for mapping out your tournament experience, win or loss. So depending on a win, you might have around the very next round. It might be 2 rounds away. Depending on a loss, you might have around the very next day, or it could be immediately. Based on you going in and looking at the brackets and selecting win or lose, which you can actually do in the bracket, it'll show you exactly where you're going to go. Win,
Right.
you're going to go here, you're going to play at this time. Lose, you're going to go here, you're going to play at this time. You can actually map out your entire tournament from beginning to end, and you can find those blocks of time in between. I mean, we're running 5-hour rounds in the main room. I know for the Showdown Series events, the Masters, Ladies, those round times are a bit different. But if you've got a 5-hour block of time off, that's enough to get into a mini.
Oh, yeah.
But you want to just make sure that you leave yourself enough time for those, and that's by far the best way to do it. If you're uncomfortable with doing it, you don't know how to do it, you can come to our staff, and we'll gladly walk you through the process as well.
And isn't there a thing, so, like, if I buy into a mini, but then I end up having a conflict later on,
Yes.
can I, like, sell it back?
Yes, you
because
can.
they're pretty popular,
Within
right?
a certain amount of time, yes, you can. You
Okay.
can come back to the room, and basically we put it up. You can either find a buyer for it, come up with that buyer, and then we can make the exchange, or if you just want us to essentially put it out there on the open market, which is all the people standing in front of the
Yeah.
Mini Mania table, we can announce it
I
there.
like it
and-
like that.
Yeah, it's kind of the auction
It's
style.
like the
People, hands
stock
go
market.
up.
It's
It's
like,
crazy.
whoa, whoa, whoa,
Yeah.
whoa, whoa. And
Yeah, it's really exciting.
Skill level 6,
Yeah.
8 ball sold. It's pretty
Pretty
cool.
much, yeah.
So
Yeah, fun
anyway,
time.
so there is a lot of opportunity to play pool out there. Obviously, a lot of opportunity for things to do in Vegas.
Absolutely.
And by following CompuSport, you're going to get an idea for what windows of time you and your teammates have to explore or play in those
Yes.
minis.
And a key distinction with CompuSport that I want to make it well known, if you actually download the app, so not just going to the website, which you can do at any time, and you can see the tournament results just the same. If you actually download the app, what you can do is sign up for notifications through the app. So you can follow yourself, you can follow your friends, and then anytime a match is affected, a table number is assigned, a win-loss gets posted.
Oh, that's cool.
You'll get that information push notified straight to your phone, so you know, I'm on this, I'm playing next, I'm on this table at this time, and it'll tell you.
Yeah, so you can
Yeah.
let your friends and family that maybe aren't coming to Las Vegas, that are keen on knowing what's going on, tell them just to download the app
Yeah,
and,
they follow you.
set up notifications for your team, and they'll get instantly notified as soon as those
Yep.
rounds come in. So
Or if you're on one team but you've got friends coming out that are on another team, you want to know how they're doing, how they're faring. Maybe you're out at dinner, you want to see what's happening.
Mhm.
It's a great way you can follow them too. So you can basically get all your tournament information as far as wins, losses, that through the CompuSport app.
So before we take another question, speaking of following your favorite team in Vegas or your favorite player, I know the last couple years it's become really popular for spectators or teammates to live stream
Yes.
their own matches. So just talk a little bit about what the rules are with that.
So our process with the live streaming, we realize that it's happening. We're doing it right now.
We love
and
it.
it's
We
this
love
easy
it.
to do. It's great to disseminate the information. All we ask is that you check with your opponent to make sure that they're comfortable with the match being streamed. Most people are getting more used to it as time goes on. I think in the early days it was a little bit more like, why are they recording us kind of thing.
Right.
People have a better understanding of it. But all we're asking is that, yes, you can set it up. Let's just make sure that your opponent's okay with it. If both teams are okay with it, we're going to fly with it. If one of the teams happens to have an objection, we'll just ask you not to stream that
Right.
match.
And that streaming never plays into calls, right? We do not
No,
use instant
no.
replay.
Unfortunately,
Don't even try to go
yeah.
there. It doesn't work.
Other sports have had to have significant things laid out for their
Right.
own views.
Yeah.
Their, baseball, we're huge baseball fans, so we know how long it took for that sport to adopt it and how it's still not perfect.
Right.
Well, if you've got, 10,000 different cameras
Right.
in a room all seeing different things from different angles, it gets too hard to say we're going to look at this one, right? We're going to consider this one valid, but not consider this one over there.
Makes
and we're not going to
sense.
know quality, we're not going to know angle, all that stuff. So we just don't get into it. It's just too controversial.
Yeah, so if you're planning on streaming your team's match, ask your opponent first, make sure it's cool, and make sure to plan accordingly. Like if you need a little tripod or something,
Yeah.
I see people fashion some really weird things into
Styrofoam
tripods
cups.
out there.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
maybe spend $10 before you get out there and make it a little bit easier on yourself, right? What other questions are we getting, Steve? Anything
So
else?
We got a couple of funny ones.
Funny questions.
Ricky Melendez asks, "Are you hiring?"
Uh-huh. Ricky,
Brian-
one of our former staffers
Well, yeah,
here,
former
who's moved to-
staffer.
tell them not people that leave us to move away to the Sunshine
to Florida
State.
and
Yeah.
see sunsets all the
Yeah,
time.
we're too jealous.
Yeah, enjoy your time down there, Ricky.
Another funny question is Brian Parks asks, "Is there a height limit?"
Brian Parks. Have I heard that name before?
I've never
Once
heard
or
of him.
twice.
I don't know who that is.
Where's he out of?
Sorry, I don't know who that is.
Does he play out of
Next
New York?
question. Membership card. Yeah, you want to talk a little bit about membership cards?
So we stopped sending out physical membership cards. When did that happen, Jason?
This is the first. Well, so
Kinda first year.
It was basically you were getting a new card every 5 years. You'd get like a stickered up
Yeah.
ticket. This year we did away with all that, and we've gone all digital.
Yes.
So you can download your membership app or your ID, if you will, through your member services account.
Yes.
So we'd encourage everybody going to Vegas to make sure you've done that. And then you guys have a process if they haven't done
Yes,
that in
we
Vegas.
do. So one of the common misconceptions at the tournament is that you will need your membership card for every single match that you play,
Right.
whether that's in the main events, Showdown Series, or Mini Mania. The truth is we only need your membership card for Mini Mania. Those other matches, you're going to need your physical ID. The membership doesn't tell us much about who you are, except for your player number and name. You could have somebody else's, is essentially the thing. The ID, we know for sure. This is that person. The membership card is used to sign up for Mini Mania, though, because we need to access your skill level. So what they're going to do is they're going to scan that. They can scan that right off your phone if you happen to download it through member services.
Got a QR code on it.
If you don't have access to that, say you don't have a smartphone, you don't have access to that, we can actually print you out essentially a temporary. It's a piece of paper with your membership number and everything that they can scan, and we do that at no cost. I believe we used to charge $5 for that because of the process and the time it took in the materials when we had physical cards. Now we
Right.
recognize we don't have those.
Nice.
We're going to make it as convenient as possible
That's cool.
for you.
Nice. Any other questions out there in the internet land, Steve?
There's not an easy one. Is there seating around the tables?
Seating around the tables, as in spectator seating.
They did not
Team
define
seating.
whether it was spectator or team captain.
Well,
So
good thing.
hit both.
I know the answer to both. So within the
believe
arenas, we have seating for about half the team, I would say. We do have to have a certain amount of pool tables. They're going to take up a certain amount of space to be able to run this tournament
Right.
over the days that we have. Unfortunately, with that space, it means that we can't provide full team seating for the main events, for the open 8-ball and 9-ball. So what we do is we provide for about half of the team members to be in the arena, and then we have plenty of spectator seating for the rest of the members of the team. So you're able to stay close. And we've got that for every single table out there, with the exception of one arena in Mini Mania that doesn't have direct spectator seating on the outside. But within the arenas, there's plenty of seating for, like, the Masters, ladies teams. We've got seating for all those. It's just in the main room, we're doing about half the teams.
Nice.
Yeah.
We have kind of a question from a 7. Why can't a 7 use a jump cue?
Why can't a 7 use a jump cue? It's basically based on the advantage that that jump cue gives to that 7.
A higher skilled player has an advantage when using a jump cue.
Yes.
Lower skilled players generally are not proficient in the use of a jump cue. And we've got a number of locations that flat out don't
not
want
want
skill
them.
level 2s, 3s, jumping cue balls on their tables. So
Yeah, that is exactly
it's-
right.
That's another big reason.
Jump
for
cues
it.
are allowed in the Masters competition because
Masters,
we
yeah.
recognize the different level of play that's happening there.
Right.
Sure. Another question is, will there be live coverage?
Yeah, so we did mention we'll be bringing you live streaming of all of the final, the championship rounds from all 6 of the separate championship events. That's the 8-ball and 9-ball World Championships, Jack and Jill doubles. You've got ladies 8-ball, you've got Masters, and the new team captain format.
Yes, sir.
That's all 6. So all 6 of those finals will be live streamed. You can find the dates and times for that in the event program that we referenced earlier. Again, go to poolplayers.com/program, and you can find that information. Of course, we'll be putting that information out through social media as we get closer to the actual event as reminders. So shouldn't be hard to find it. And then if you're looking for additional coverage, again, we actually encourage teams, feel free to live stream, your first round match if you'd like, as long as your opponent's okay with it and you've got the right gear to do it, right? And I think that's a great way for
Yeah.
people to kind of be able to see what's happening back home.
Another good question is how to access live coverage when we go live.
I didn't catch that.
How to access live coverage
Where
once
will
we go
be
live.
Oh, so we'll be, so where do you watch the live streaming? So the first place you can watch it is the same place you're watching this stream. That is on the APA's Facebook page. I know we'll also simulcast to YouTube, and you can catch that on our website, poolplayers.com/live. So any of those platforms, but again, if you're watching us here on Facebook, you're already going to have access to watching us when we're live streaming those championship matches. And again, you should, if you have liked our page, you should get a notification when we go live in those matches.
Here's another question about drinking. Are there any rules about drinking? Can they bring their own alcohol?
Oh, good question.
Cannot bring your own alcohol. There's no outside food or beverage inside the convention area. We do provide, as Jason pointed out earlier, beer specials. The best prices you guys are going to find as far as liquor, beer, food, those are going to be in the tournament area. That's where we've got the biggest control
Right.
with the hotel, and we can affect the most change down there. But, yeah, you cannot bring in any outside food or beverage.
Now, I will qualify that by saying you're probably not going to get stopped taking a 12-pack up to your hotel room. So if you
Not
want
that
to
I
walk
know.
around drinking a beer in the casino, but you can't take your drinks into the tournament area,
Yeah.
right? That's kind of the distinction there.
That
so,
is.
I think within reason you can have your own alcohol in your hotel room, right?
I know plenty of people that do. Yeah.
Well,
All right, I'm looking. A lot of the same questions. Again, another question about when does the brackets go live?
brackets will go live August 7th.
Tuesday.
Next
Yes,
Tuesday.
that's the date we are pegging for the release of the brackets.
CompuSport.us for those.
It's funny, every time I tell you the question, Becky has already answered it in chat. Rockstar over here.
Becky's racing us on the chat function. So, anything else before we wrap up, guys? Any other questions before we get back to packing up for this big shindig we've got going on in a couple weeks?
Here's one. Is Wi-Fi only available for Westgate guests?
That is a good question. The
Uh,
question was about Wi-Fi being available.
I believe
Is
there's
it only
open
for-
Wi-Fi down in the tournament
Is there?
area. Yes.
That I have
yes,
no idea.
I believe that there is, but we can definitely confirm and make everybody aware of that.
Now, I don't know if it is. So here's if you're asking about that because you want to stream somebody's match,
That might get a little tough.
Understand that, yeah, if you're on free Wi-Fi, it's free Wi-Fi, right? And there's probably 1,000 other people using it.
At
so
least.
you may want to consider using your own cellular network to stream that just for quality purposes. But, if you can make it work, make it work.
I'm just going to chime in on that one, and they can hear me. Just make sure you have unlimited data.
Yeah.
If you decide to stream.
Yeah.
You will be very displeased at your next bill
Right.
if you stream.
great point.
That's a good tip from our tech guy running this.
Ask
Yeah,
me
if
how
you're streaming through your service, make sure you have unlimited data. Don't get hit with a big hotel bill because we said, "Hey, stream your match.
Yeah.
It's great."
Kevin Jones asked, will there be actual paper booklets for the event program? I know we covered this earlier, but
Yes.
he must have
Yeah.
just joined.
We will provide one of these to each of the teams that qualifies, and then we will also have essentially newsstands set up at our event information booth, at our control tables, with additional programs for everyone once they're on site. Still, though, we highly recommend downloading them as well, just so that you've got a backup, something that you always know you've got access to.
I don't like carrying paper around.
Yeah.
I don't want to carry that thing everywhere. So again, access it on your phone, have the link to it, especially with the CompuSport. I mean, the most valuable information you guys are going to need is that schedule of when your team actually plays. And that is actually not even found in the program guide. That is found through the CompuSport website or app. So that's all electronic.
That's huge, yeah.
That's all electronic. Anything else, Steve, before we
Questions are kind of drying up. There was
drying
some
up?
talk about
We
whether
bored.
Alright.
We made everybody bored and gave them all the info they needed.
a lot of dress code questions, which Becky has already answered.
Yeah, dress code. You can find all the details of that stuff in the event program. I would say for guys, and even for girls, if jeans are an issue, just throw on khaki shorts.
Yeah.
That's what I would do. Khaki shorts, maybe a collared shirt,
That's
some
about
tennis
all we're
shoes,
asking.
like
Yeah.
same thing you'd wear to go play a game of golf or something like that.
Exactly.
So it doesn't have to be over. Now we do have players that dress up,
We do.
especially like in the Masters. You'll see those guys wearing slacks, polo shirts. I mean, they dress nice and they take it. Not that anybody takes it less serious, but they, for whatever reason, they migrate to a little bit nicer attire, and that's fine too. We love seeing that on the stream.
Yep.
So
And if you guys have any questions on dress code, once you get it on site, just look for a tournament director, myself, my team.
Right.
We'll be happy to point you in the right direction on what is appropriate and what isn't.
there you go.
Yeah, I think questions are kind of drying
That's
up.
going to
a little
wrap
bit.
it up. All right,
All
guys.
right.
Well, we appreciate you guys joining us. Hopefully, everyone is as excited as we are. Bill, one thing I do want to mention before we go, though. So let's talk just briefly about attitude, right? And we kind of touched on this early on when it came to the travel aspect. So keep in mind, folks, we're going to have nearly 15,000 people out there. So in between the time that you leave the house to go to the airport, to get on the airplane, to get to the airport in Las Vegas, to get to the hotel and checked in, you may hit a snag in the road somewhere. There may be a lot of people. Something may not go exactly right. Keep a positive attitude. I think if you keep a positive attitude and you come into this event knowing you've already won, right? I'm already
it's
ahead.
huge,
I'm
yeah.
going to Las
Yeah.
Vegas to play an event that I've always wanted to play in. Just kind of understand only one team wins each of these 6 divisions.
Exactly.
Only one team. That
It's
means
much
a
more. It's
lot
much more about the overall experience.
Absolutely.
Just the opportunity to be there and to play in that kind of environment with those caliber of players all around you and all people sharing in this same experience. That's the important part, and that's what we want people to focus on. And if there's anything that we can do to make that experience better for you, let us know. I think that's the biggest thing. Is if you're not having a good experience, let us know. We can't work on that experience if we don't know that you're having an issue. So
Yeah. So that'll be our last tip to you guys today. Again, keep a positive attitude. Be excited. Understand that hiccups may happen on the way to the hotel or once you get to the hotel. You'll work through them. Don't let it negatively affect your experience because, again, you keep a positive attitude. I think that's going to go a long way in ensuring you guys have the experience of a lifetime. And that's really
Agreed.
what it's all about. So we will plan to see everybody in Las Vegas at the Westgate August 9th. Until then, we're going to say goodbye for just a little while.
All right, you're muted.